sure, if somebody offered me $30 million, take it. Take the plane ticket. Hey everyone, Henriel here. Welcome back. Right now we are going to watch Mr. Arkadin, also known as Confidential Report, directed by Orson Welles. There are a few versions to this movie, so let's take a look. None of the versions available before 2006 contained the footage found in the others. Each had some elements missing from other versions, and each has different editing. The first version to be released was the Spanish language version, and it premiered in Madrid. Two of the characters in the movie were played by Spanish actors. This version credits Robert Arden as Bob Harden. There's a second, longer Spanish cut, and this version credits Robert Arden as Mark Sharp. Confidential Report is the most common European release, and it premiered in London. The Corinth version is the version that I'm going to watch today. Until the 2006 re-edit, it was believed to be the closest version to Welles' conception. The most widely seen version is the United States release, which entirely removes the film's flashback structure and presents a simpler narrative. However, this version often edits out half sentences, so it makes some dialogue incomprehensible. The 2006 version is apparently the most complete and comprehensive Mr. Arkadin version, but I can't seem to get my hands on it. I think it's with Criterion Collections, so instead I settle for the Corinth version because prior to 2006, it was believed to be the closest version to Welles' conception, so I think that's good enough. If you'd like to see my full reaction to this movie, then go check out my Patreon, link is in the description. And if you'd love to see more reactions like this, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on your post notifications. Now let's watch Mr. Arkadin, aka Confidential Report. A certain great and powerful king once asked a poet, "What can I give you of all that I have?" He wisely replied, "Anything, sir, except your secret."
An aeroplane was sighted off the coast of Barcelona, of the events leading up to the murder, and to the appearance last Christmas morning of the empty plane.
An empty plane without a pilot. He looks dead.
Jacob Zook? Look, if we don't start moving right away, you're gonna be killed.
I'm a dying man with no money. Somebody wants to kill me?
I wouldn't give you a thought if I didn't have to. If my own life didn't depend on it. I'd better tell you my story.
Who are you?
My name's Van Stratton. If I'm gonna save your miserable life for you, you're gonna have to understand this story, see?
Okay, let's hear it.
I see this character with a peg leg. Seems like he was in an awful hurry to get away from there. Go get a doctor, quick.
Too late.
Fine, doctor.
But the police.
Try to keep them away.
What is your name?
Van Stratton, Guy.
I am Draco. You call me Marcel this way. I spend my last few minutes among friends. Now listen. What I give you is 2 names.
You don't have to give me anything.
It isn't money, but it is worth millions.
It's Draco, the American. What's he doing?
Look, I just happened by.
Your papers.
I'll go on board and get it.
We'll come with you.
Now remember, it is a secret. Give it only to your friend.
Hey, cigarette, money. Jail for you, senor. Jail.
What was the message he gave you?
Yes, Draco was talking to you. What was it?
Sense it was just a name. He was dying.
What name was it?
Gregory Arkadin.
I had to do time for the cigarette smuggling. They confiscated my boat, so when I got out, I had nothing else to do but look around and ask questions. Oh, Millie wasn't waiting for me at the prison gates. But I traced her down to Joan Lepin, to a nightclub where she was doing a bubble dance. So Millie got next to Arkadin already.
Oh.
She was a bird brain, but at least she had something to go on. Maybe if you get close to him, we could sort of throw that other name at him.
That's the trouble. You see, I couldn't hear very well. Right after that, what's his name? Draco died.
So they don't know the name.
You tell Mr. Arkadis you have a friend who knows somebody named Bracco.
Come to think of it, who knows how Mr. Arkadin got started?
A big inheritance, maybe?
But the closest I could even get to Arkadin was that yacht of his. The Raina, it was called. After his daughter. She's quite some dame. Oh, then there's her boyfriend, a long drink of cold water called the Marquis or something or other.
The Marquis of Arkadin. But I don't think it's anything serious.
Well, your friend's gonna be some time on a long-distance phone.
How do you know Bob's taking a long-distance
Oh, who
call?
would know better? I put the phone call in myself. With her British boyfriend occupied in the telephone, Raina and me were just getting nicely acquainted. It wouldn't be so tough to get stuck on a doll like that, dough or no dough, but romance wasn't any part of my plan. Plan? The truth is I didn't have any plan.
No plans at all.
I threw Raina a line about how my own car just happened to break down there. And would she please give me a lift?
Oh, that? He's one of my father's secretaries. He has all kinds of secretaries. Something I'm not supposed to know about, of course.
They all seem to be very interested in who it was that was bumming a ride with the boss's daughter.
All of them are spies.
Well, that's a castle in Spain for sure. Thanks for the lift.
Uh-oh. Here comes the ogre.
Ogre, what's that?
The ogre's my nickname for Bob. If you meet my father, you'll see what I mean.
Yeah, you mean when I meet him. I'm going to your party.
I don't believe it.
Why not? Look, why don't you take me up there, introduce me to him, and be done with it?
Because we're having fun, and I'd like it to last a few days. Cornball.
Oh my goodness, how many secretaries are there?
If father had his way, I'd never get married.
Well, you don't have to worry about that, honey. As long as I live, I'll never ask you to marry me.
Gee, thanks.
Guy is really gunning for it. For the money or for love?
So it's a masquerade. It isn't Halloween, is it? What's with all these crazy Frankensteins? And all these people are supposed to represent the paintings. Goya. Who? You know Goya. Glad to meet you.
Bring the triple vodka and you pass.
Triple straight vodka?
Father likes his guests to be ready for a body before it starts. Savage, of course, but then so's he.
Is that the confidential report? Oh, it's a report on Guy.
Confidential report. Has my name on it.
Oh,
I knew it.
you should leave it for Raina after the party's over. It may seem a considerable investment to make for a mere gigolo, a petty adventurer.
And what about you, Mr. Arkadin? How do you think it would look if someone got up a dossier on you?
What are you two doing in my bedroom?
How about if somebody got up a confidential report on the subject of you, huh? All the dirt, I mean, from Bracco on down.
I'm ashamed of you.
He said it. He said the key word, Bracco.
What did you say to Arkadin?
I haven't seen it, not here in Spain.
Did you tell him anything about me?
No, why should
He's
I?
got private detectives on me.
I never once talked to Arkadin about you. Oh, and another thing, I remembered that name. It was Sophie.
Sophie what?
Well, that's just it. I can't remember. It was something Russian.
Mr. Van Stratten.
Speaking.
Mr. Arkadin is calling you.
Van Stratten, I took have to talk business with you.
And now I'm going to tell you about a scorpion. So we asked the frog to carry him. If I let you on my back, you may sting me, and the sting of a scorpion is death. If I sting you, you will die. I will drown. So the frog was convinced that just in the middle of the river, he felt a terrible pain and realized that after all, the scorpion had stung him. I know it's the scorpion, but I can't help it.
It's in my nature.
My character.
Yeah, I've heard a similar story.
I'm not the only one who knows about Bracco. He's dead, but he told us something about you, something you'd like kept quiet.
You've tried to threaten me with a secret which does not exist. Now I'll make you a present of a real one. The great secret of my life.
And why would you do that?
Well, how come you never let yourself be photographed, for instance?
No, I've been photographed, but usually I break the photograph. How old do you think I am?
How would I know?
I don't know either. See, that's my secret.
What, secret to immortality?
I want you to make an investigation and prepare me a report.
A report on what?
Gregory Arkadin. It's winter of 27. One snowy night. I had nothing. Only the one suit I was wearing and the wallet in which there were 200,000 Swiss francs. Who was I?
He lost his memory?
What happened before the winter of 27? Where did I come from in my one suit? I do not know who I am.
Amnesia. So what makes you so sure your name is Arkadin?
Fool, I know my own name.
Who says so?
I say so.
Yeah, well, who are you? Maybe it's somebody you knocked off at 200,000 Swiss francs.
You think that's how I got the money?
Well, maybe you stole
Maybe.
it. How do we know?
I want to see Guy.
He has left the country, Raina. She will not see you. You know, at first I thought it was something else. I rather thought you were blackmailing me. Here's the character.
He could easily get one of his secretaries to do it.
Why should he think that I could turn up something that he couldn't even remember?
Oh, he can't reveal the secret to his secretaries. Okay.
Brussels, Belgrade, Beirut. I talked to every crook who'd even been around in 1927. During the last war, I had occasion to make inquiries into his past, as to his place of origin and the source of his first capital. These are quite impossible to trace.
Why'd you grow that awful beard?
To scare people with.
When'd you go? 1927?
You know something about that year
Could
Van
be.
Straten has discovered something?
Guy went to see your tailor in Zurich.
What?
Your suit was made in Warsaw. So that's where you came from.
Remember that Bracco had made us a present of two names, Arkadin, Sophie.
He's doing a great job with the investigation.
In a flea circus.
Why come to me? I am a legitimate entertainer now. You ever seen a football game? Alley hoops. Between alley hoops. Alley hoops.
Is the flea really throwing the ball?
Feeding time.
Huh, okay.
Come on, Professor, think back. A police case in Warsaw involving a woman called Sophie.
Sophie. No, a type like that, if she's alive, she's legitimate by now.
What makes you think she goes straight?
She was intelligent. Did you ever stop to think why cops are always famous for being dumb? Because they don't have to be anything else.
You were going to tell me about a woman called Sophie, remember?
Sophie,
You haven't answered my question.
you haven't bought my telescope.
But I will.
Those girls. Those girls were the ruin of Sophie. They were hired by the police to pose as members of Sophie's dancing academy. Well, it just happened, my dear, that one of them turned up here during the war, during the occupation.
What's her name?
Well, the Baroness could tell you all about Sophie.
Oh, fine, Mr. Church. Where is this Baroness?
The Baroness Nagel.
Okay, but where does she live?
If you can pay me in dollars, I can offer you a very good rate. Oh? Nagel. Nagel.
Is that all I'm getting?
Baroness Nagel. B-A-R...
I can spell Baroness. Now, you just tell me where I can find it.
I haven't the remotest idea where the Baroness is. Oh, what happened to her?
Well, I'm sorry, monsieur, but the Baroness won't be until late tonight. She had a dinner appointment. He was a big, tall man with a beard.
Oh, Arkadin found her first.
Criminals aren't ever very amusing.
Those who make real money are counted as criminals. This is a class distinction, not an ethical problem. The gang masqueraded as a dancing school. Young ladies went to learn the tango. The victims, of course, ended up in South America. I was glad, actually, to be useful in breaking it up. Sophie's been living abroad ever since, in great style.
Here. Write Sophie's married name and address, and then we'll compare notes.
No, I really can't. I hate people who sell information. There was somebody else only last week. Here, take it as a gift. After all, what's that woman to me?
There, you see what I've written? Honest. A fool is a man who pays twice for the same thing.
There still wasn't any word from Millie. I hadn't heard from her in weeks.
Going to ask me up for a drink?
What?
Oh, yes, and there's somebody else waiting for you.
Can the receptionist speak faster?
What are you doing in this man's room?
That's my question, isn't it, Father?
He gave me his word he wouldn't see you again.
Oh, really? And he swore to me he wouldn't take money from you.
That's the sort of man you think you're in love with, a blackmailer.
Who says I'm in love with him?
I was hired by your father to do a little checking up for him.
It doesn't sound much like blackmail to
But
me.
you aren't in love with
But
him.
it does rather look as though he's been taking money to stay away.
Well, that brings us to Mexico. Sophie and Oscar and Corinth.
Oscar and Sophie was married.
Yeah, well, now she got a new husband, a retired general of the Mexican Revolution. Oscar's playing his accordion at Sophie's restaurant and blackmailing her a little on the side.
Oscar, he's a drug addict. He'll never be well.
I got him out in the water, took away his needle.
I don't know for how long we've been out on this boat, for how many days I've been
Without your heroin?
Withdrawal symptoms.
You were married to Sophie.
I still am.
And now she's got a new husband. You mean she was never divorced, is that it? So it's bigamy.
What is it? You want me to tell you?
I want you to tell me about Sophie's gang. I don't know how long it was I had to keep him out there, but finally he spilled everything. Tossing me out of the country, well, you better give me a chance to pack.
There is someone in Mexico City who'd like to see you.
Who's that?
Sit down, mister. We're putting you on the plane in an hour, but I'd like to hear first what you've got to say for yourself. I'll let you in on a secret. Oscar I was never married to. He's old now, and he's talked himself into it. I allow him to blackmail me. Not much. Just enough to keep up his self-respect. People torturing other people, that I don't go for. Boy, little Oscar, why do you have to pick on him? Why not leave in peace the people that's minding their own business and not hurting other people? So, what are you after?
I just want to check a few names with you, that's all. The men who worked for you back in Warsaw. Arkadin, Herscheles, Jacob Zook, Andre Block. Block was the one with the peg leg. For some reason, he knifed a guy called Brocco and tried to shoot it out with the cops.
If he knifed this, Brock, why did he then use a gun?
Keep it silent.
I never thought of that.
I did think of that, but I thought he wanted to kill silently.
Well, you see, I work for Arkadin. Of course, he has a different name now.
Oh.
Gregory Arkadin.
So his real name is Athabadzi.
You must have realized what that information was worth.
Money. Money I don't need.
I guess he must have grown his beard after he left you.
He had a beard when I saw him in Monte Carlo. Sitting right next to me. He didn't know me. Hello, Vasha, I was going to say. Where's the money you stole from me? Now that you're the great Mr. Arkadin, maybe you could afford to pay me back. But I didn't. I'd been playing his numbers, and I was winning too. A whole lot more than what he took from me all those years ago.
Whoa, they played big.
And when you see your boss, tell him from me he could live well enough alone.
You mean he doesn't have to worry about you?
Why does anybody worry?
Sophie has enough money. She doesn't need to blackmail Arkadin.
Chiquita says she wants to go water skiing.
It's an amusing sport. I'd like to try it myself.
In the old days in Warsaw, Sophie had 9 men working for her. 4 are dead, 2 are behind the Iron Curtain. Oscar's here. That leaves somebody in Germany called Jacob Zook. And 1 other.
And this other man.
You.
He says he wants to go water skiing. Your real name is Vaso Athabadzi. I think it's funny.
This man in Germany, can he identify me too?
Zook's in a safe place, Mr. Arkadin. He's in jail.
Oh, and one thing more.
Yeah?
These things you claim to be finding out about me, don't speak of them to my daughter.
Counter-espionage, mystery. After all, he's a Russian.
What makes you think he's a Russian?
Well, I'm his daughter.
He doesn't know himself.
Well, what about the famous amnesia?
Oh, really, chum? I never heard of amnesia lasting that long.
I mean, it's possible.
In his memory was just a lie. And all he really wanted from me was to see how much I could find out about it.
And you found out everything. Mr. Arkadin is gonna kill you off now because you know the truth.
Polizei.
Yes.
Okay, what do you want?
This is a question of murder.
But why don't you just let me go? Mr. Arkadin's giving a party. I gotta get along.
Arkadin? Gregory Arkadin?
Right.
We'll bring the photograph to Mr. Arkadin's apartment.
Christmas, Merry.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Mr. Arkadin.
Tell him. Thanks, Jacob Zook. He's gone.
Gone? You mean escaped?
Nah, his time was almost up and he's dying, so they let him out.
There's nobody left for me to worry about. Except you, of course.
Except you.
What about Sophie and Oscar? The call is to Mrs. Sophie Jesus Martinez of Mexico City. Yes?
You got the photograph.
There's reason to believe that you knew the murder victim.
Oh no, it must be Sophie or Oscar. Millie. It was Millie.
Madame Martinez is not available. She appears to be deceased.
I guess Oscar is dead too. Arkadin is tying up all the loose ends.
What happened to Sophie? Did she get it like Millie? With a knife? Cops in Naples shot down a guy with a wooden leg. They think he killed Bracco. But I think that this Bracco was knifed by the man he and the peg leg were trying to blackmail. She'd known for years and she didn't even care. Live and let live. That was Sophie's motto.
Well, she told me about this before.
I didn't know she was in any danger. Bracco, Millie, Sophie, and Oscar.
And now
there's only Jacob Zook.
And you.
Just one left.
Sure you aren't losing count?
Why, he's been knocking off everybody that might remember that crummy little secret is.
Of course, I think it's only natural.
He's gone right off his rocker at the thought that she might find out about him. The only way I could save myself is by saving you, hiding you. Oscar and Sophie were found dead in a ditch in Mexico City with their throats cut. I just found that out on the long-distance telephone.
Where I'm going, nobody could bother me. I ain't scared, but you are.
Yeah, he's already dying.
You're coming with me. There must be something you want. Listen, whatever you want, I'm gonna get it for you, Mr. Zuko.
It's you've got no sense of decency. Also, it's cold, mister. I'll catch me a chill.
This door's open.
So it's open. Whose door?
What's it matter? Get in. You, here's some money. Lock the door.
Well, I do for all
Shut
the
up,
life, you
Monroe.
understand?
Put your pants on first.
I ain't heard
You know
that
what the
decent
man
for
said?
10 years.
Get them to bed.
It's something else I ain't heard in 14 years. Too late.
That's the wrong room. I went in there by mistake. Zook lives up in the garret.
Arkadin himself wants to kill all of them. He could have just sent an assassin.
Shivering.
It's cold. There is no heat in this building.
Here's a thousand.
Thank you, sir.
There was nobody at home.
That's right, nobody.
That was funny.
Old age.
Just no thought of what we gotta get out of here, quick.
You said I couldn't have any.
Well, of course we can.
Goose liver.
Did you say a goose liver?
And hot mashed potatoes and apples and onion.
Merry Christmas!
We registered in the hotel under false names, but you can't tell. He may have traced us.
Of course he has.
I'll give you an hour.
Okay.
She ain't back by that time.
I'll be back.
Hey, if you don't unlock the door, I'll yell for help. Help! Help!
The door is unlocked.
I'm pretty sure Arkadin knows that he's here. He's got spies everywhere.
What are you doing now?
Shopping. Just some shopping.
You'd better get in. We're blocking the road.
If anyone could get goose liver at this time, it would be Mr. Arkadin himself.
Quite a number of people have been seen with you. Bracco, for instance. Bracco was with you when he died. You're a dangerous man to be seen with.
Yeah.
In this world there are those who give and those who ask, those who do not care to give, those who do not dare to ask. You dare. Now there's nothing more you could hope to beg from me, Monserratin. Not money. Certainly not my daughter. Not even your wife.
All those people were seen with Guy, but he wasn't the one who killed them. Jacob's dead.
Here's what you've been waiting for. Hey, Mr. Zook.
Ah, I thought he died from his health.
Where will you go now? I've got a seat in the plane, the last seat. You've got a castle in Spain, Mr. Arkadin, a regular fortress. That's where I'll be safe with your daughter.
Assuming you'll be able to get there.
Did you get my telegram off to Spain for me?
Mr. Van Straten, will you please step this way?
I want your seat on that plane.
So you can get to talk to Raina before I do?
I want that seat. What's your price?
Too late. Too many people are dead.
I must have a seat on that plane. I will pay anything. I'll give you a check now. 50 million marks for a seat on that plane.
Okay.
My name is Gregory Arkadin.
Yeah, and I'm Santa Claus.
Sure, somebody offered me $30 million for my plane ticket today, then I'd be like, hey, yeah, take it. Take the plane ticket.
Raina Arkadin. She's there somewhere in the airport. I want to speak to her first.
Yeah, now that I think about it, Arkadin should have his own private plane.
Your father, something urgent.
I don't care what that is. I've got to talk to you
Now,
first.
wait.
Senorita, I heard it
Just
from
a
Mr.
I want you to pretend to... Oh, I've told you something. If he thinks I've talked to you, no, he can't lay a hand on me without proving to you that it's true.
Why use me to trick him?
Because you're all he really cares about, you and what you think of him.
What are you trying to do? Break his heart?
I want to save my life, Ray.
Senorita, I want to speak to my daughter.
Yes, Father.
Have you seen that Strat? Refuse to listen. I beg you, Raina, wait.
Tell him it's too late.
It's too late! Father!
Is he gonna crash his plane just because of this?
Is it true that Arkadin's plane's flying around up there empty?
Empty? He jumped off the plane? I already forgot the intro about the plane.
I saved your precious life for you. I had to kill my father to do it.
Once a long time ago, he was something less than Mr. Arkadin. That's what he couldn't stand having you know about. That he was once something like me.
No, I mean, she loved him well enough. But the way he felt about it, well, it wasn't healthy. So perhaps just as well. What are you going to do now?
Drive you into town.
I'll do the driving.
Okay, not very sure how to feel about this movie. The beginning of the movie, when it talks about a real event of an empty plane, so that was actually not an actual real event. It was just a fictionalized thing that, that's just for the purpose of the movie. The movie moved really fast at the beginning, a lot of short cutscenes, and then just, like moving the plot along as fast as they could. So to me, it felt like it's a bit too fast, but it got a little better in the second half. The way the story was told was actually not bad, because it started with Guy or Von Straten going to find Jacob Zook, and then him telling the story from there. So this storytelling method, it has been used in many other movies, and yeah, it works pretty well. When we saw Bracco with the knife in his back, and then we assume that it was the guy with the pegged leg who killed him, it did cross my mind why he would stab Bracco, but then he had a gun. Why not just shoot Bracco? But I thought it was because he wanted to kill Bracco silently, and a gun would attract too much attention. But then here comes the other question. If he had a gun, when he saw Arkadin stab Bracco, why didn't he shoot him? He could have easily fired a few bullets at Arkadin. I don't know, maybe he wanted to continue blackmailing him after he escaped. Too bad he was killed by the police in the end. There's one small thing that nags me, and it's about the killings, the murders. Why would Arkadin choose to kill all of them himself using a knife instead of hiring assassins? I think it could be because, number one, hiring an assassin means there's a loose end, because the assassin would know Arkadin hired him. But it could easily be resolved by Arkadin asking someone else to ask someone else, go through a few proxies or people, and then getting someone to hire the assassin. Like, that would have concealed his own identity. But another reason could be because Arkadin wanted to bury his past with his own hands. So he wanted to kill everyone by his own hands. Even so, I still feel like it would have been so much more convenient if he had hired someone, an assassin, to kill all of them. Than if he wanted to close up that loose end or tie up the loose end, he could have just killed the assassin. That would have made things safer for himself. At the end of the movie, about the planes, the thing is, Arkadin should have had his own private jet or private plane. I mean, he clearly piloted his own plane at the end, so why did he bother trying to get a seat on a commercial flight? He could fly himself or hire a pilot to fly him. I'm also surprised that nobody sold their seats to him. $30 million is a lot, but the people probably thought he was joking. When he said that he was Gregory Arkadin, von Straten replied by saying, "And I'm Santa Claus," which, makes the whole thing like a joke. And people wouldn't recognize Arkadin in person because he never allows himself to be photographed. So there's a nice little subtle detail in that, how von Straten turned his claim as Arkadin into a joke. But Arkadin did not need to desperately get on the flight. He could just place a long distance call or send a telegram to Reina. Arkadin clearly views Reina with the utmost importance, and he's also very concerned about how Reina views him as a father. So much so that when he thought Reina knew the truth about him, he jumped from his plane. I don't really know the thought process behind his actions, but clearly he's very ashamed of his past. I'm not very surprised that Arkadin wanted to kill off all the remaining people, because at the beginning of the movie he was just blackmailed by Bracco and the peg leg guy. So after that blackmail, I guess he started becoming a bit more fearful that his past would be revealed, especially to Reina. So then he decided, he should just tie up all the loose ends and make sure nobody could blackmail him ever again. That's also another reason he hates von Straten, because von Straten also tried to blackmail him. Overall, I think that the movie is actually okay. It has diverse characters, it has some special scenes, such as the scene on the cruise ship when Millie was talking to Mr. Arkadin in that very, very shaky room. And then there was the scene with the flea circus. Most of the key elements for Arkadin's character come from a real-life arms dealer, Basil Zaharov. In an interview, Wells described Mr. Arkadin as the biggest disaster of his life because of his loss of creative control. The woman who played the role of Arkadin's daughter actually became Wells' third wife in 1955, sometime during the film's production. Those are just a few fun facts from the movie, and that's it from me. What do you think of Mr. Arkadin, aka Confidential Report? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thanks for watching the movie with me. Hope you enjoyed my reaction, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.